Okay, just picture it for a second. You're in the middle of making this amazing pasta sauce, and you just casually reach over to your windowsill and snip off some perfectly fresh basil. That's the dream, isn't it? Having fresh herbs right there in your apartment, ready to go whenever the mood strikes. But okay, let's get real. For a lot of us, that beautiful dream, well, it turns into a bit of a nightmare. Your windowsill starts to look less like a lush garden and more like, a plant cemetery, a sad little collection of crispy remains. If you've ever stared at a brown, crunchy plant and thought, am I cursed? Do I have a black thumb? Then you're in the right place. Because I promise you, it's not you. We all crave that little patch of green in our homes, but the reality of it can be so frustrating. The parsley just gives up on life. The mint gets all leggy and sad, and the basil, it just sort of sighs itself into oblivion. It really can feel like you're trying to solve some impossible puzzle. Well, here's the good news. It's not a curse, and it's not you. Your poor plants are being systematically taken out by a few very common, very predictable assassins. And once you know who you're up against, you can actually stop them. So it's time to unmask the villains of our little story. So first up on our most wanted list is the master of shadows itself, the gloom. This bad guy absolutely thrives in those apartments with north-facing windows, or, the ones where your only view is a brick wall. See, herbs are basically tiny little sun worshippers. Without enough bright, direct light, they literally can't make their own food. It's a slow, tragic starvation. All right, next we have the swamp. Now, this villain is tricky because it's born from good intentions. Way too good. You think you're being a great plant parent by giving your herb a huge drink of water, but if your pot doesn't have proper drainage, you're not helping. You're creating a muddy, suffocating bog of death. The roots need to breathe, and you're essentially just drowning them. And finally, we have the most relatable villain of them all, the amnesia. Oh yeah, we've all been here. Life gets crazy and you completely forget to water for like a week. Then you panic water, which creates the swamp. You can't remember which plant is which or what it needs. This constant back and forth is just a roller coaster of stress for your herbs. And eventually, they just throw in the towel. Okay, so you've met the crew, the gloom, the swamp, and the amnesia. Sounds like a tough bunch, right? But here is the secret. Beating them is actually incredibly simple, but only if you know the code. And luckily for us, the source material for this explainer spells it out perfectly. And there it is. Boom. The entire secret right there on the screen. It's not about having some magical green thumb. It's not about luck. It's just about solving 3 very specific problems before you even get started. Light, drainage, and consistency. That's the whole code. So the key here is to tackle these in order. First, you master the light. Find the sunniest window you've got. Then you defeat the drowned. Get pots with good drainage holes, no exceptions. But that third one, conquering with consistency, that's the real boss battle. That is how you finally take down the amnesia. Let's be honest, consistency is the hardest part. We're human. We get busy. Our routines change. We just forget. But what if I told you there's a simple little tool, a tiny cheat sheet that makes being consistent almost foolproof? A tool so critical, it was actually hiding in plain sight this whole time. You see that? Tucked away in parentheses right in the source's title. This is not some little add-on, it's the secret weapon, a simple plant label. I know it sounds way too easy to be the answer, but it's a brilliant example of how one tiny piece of organization can change everything. I mean, think about it. Without a label, your poor plant is having a full-on identity crisis, and you're just guessing what to do. But with a label, suddenly everything changes. You're not just some random owner, you're an informed plant parent. You can write down its name, its watering schedule, a note about how much sun it likes. You've created a permanent reminder for yourself. You've officially defeated the amnesia. And trust me, Bartholomew the Basil is going to thank you for it. So let's just agree to throw out the whole concept of a black thumb. It's a total myth. You're not a fumbling beginner anymore. You're an insider. You know the code, you've met the villains, and now you have the secret weapon you need to win. The only thing left to do now is get started. That windowsill, it's not a place of tragedy anymore. It's a stage just waiting for your success story. So the only real question left is, what are you going to grow first? Basil? Mint? Maybe some rosemary? The choice is all yours. Now go make it happen.